The Life of Saint Nikephoros the Leper. Father Nikephoros, Nicholas Xenakakis in the world, was born in 1890 in a mountainous village in Kanya in Sikari, Kastanahori, to the west of the prefecture, with a healthy climate, with beautiful forests, rich waters, gorges, and caves. This village has a peculiarity that we do not often encounter. It is divided into 11 neighborhoods, which have also been named after the families who first settled there. So Saint Nikephoros was born in the neighborhood of Kastoyenades. His parents were simple and pious villagers, who died when he was still a young child, leaving him as an orphan. So at the age of 13 he left his home. His grandfather, who had undertaken to raise him, went to Kanya to work there in a barber shop in order to learn the job. Then he showed the first signs of Hansen's disease, that is, leprosy. The lepers were isolated on the island of Spinalonga, because leprosy was a contagious disease and it was treated with fear and dismay. Nicholas was 16 years old when signs of the disease began to become more conspicuous, so he left on a boat to Egypt in order to avoid being confined to Spinalonga. He remained in Alexandria, working in a barber shop again, but the signs of the disease became more and more apparent, especially on his hands and face. That is why, through the intervention of a cleric, he went to Chios, where there was a church for lepers at that time, and the priest was Father Anthemos Vagianos, later Saint Anthemos, February 15th. Nicholas arrived in Chios in 1914 at the age of 24. In the leper hospital of Chios, which was a complex with many homesteads, there was a chapel of St. Lazarus, where the wonder-working icon of Panagia Ipokoi, February 2nd, was kept. In this space, the course of virtues was open for Nicholas. Within 2 years, St. Anthemos considered him ready for the angelic schema, and tonsured him with the name Nikephoros. The disease progressed and evolved in the absence of suitable drugs, causing many large lesions. A drug was found in 1947. Father Nikephoros lived with unquestioning, genuine obedience to his spiritual father, and with austere fasting, working in the gardens. He also recorded the miracles of St. Anthemos, which he had witnessed with his own eyes. Many of these were related to the deliverance of those possessed by demons. There was a special spiritual relationship between St. Anthemos and the monk Nikephoros, who always remained close to him, as Father Theoklitos Dionysiades wrote in his book St. Anthemos of Chios. Father Nikephoros prayed at night for hours on end, making countless metanias. He did not quarrel with anyone, nor injure anyone's heart, and he was the master chanter of the temple. Because of his illness, however, he slowly lost his sight, and so he chanted the Troparia and the epistles from memory. The Chios leprosarium was closed in 1957, and the remaining patients, together with Father Nikephoros, were sent to St. Barbara's Home for Lepers in Athens, in Aigaleo. At that time, Father Nikephoros was about 67 years old. His members and his eyes were completely altered and distorted by the disease. There Father Eumenios also lived there at the Home for Lepers. He also suffered from Hansen's disease, but with the medication he received, he was completely cured. However, he decided to remain in the Home for Lepers for the rest of his life near his fellow sufferers, caring for them with much love. Thus he submitted to Father Nikephoros, to whom the Lord had given many gifts as a reward for his patience. A crowd of people gathered in the humble cell of the leper Nikephoros in St. Barbara in Aigaleo to obtain his prayers. Here are some testimonies of those who met him. While he was prostrate with wounds and pains, he did not complain, but he showed great patience. He had the charisma of consoling those who were sad. His eyes were permanently irritated, and he had limited sight. He also had stiffness in his hands and paralysis in his lower limbs. Nonetheless, he endured all this in the sweetest, meek, smiling, delightful way, and he was also pleasant and lovable. His face, which was eaten away by the marks of illness, and his wounds shone. It was a joy for those who saw this destitute and seemingly feeble man, saying, "May his holy name be glorified." Father Nikephoros reposed on January 4th, 1964, at the age of 74. After 3 years, his holy relics were exhumed and found to be fragrant. Father Eumenios and other believers reported many cases where miracles occurred by calling on Saint Nikephoros to intercede with God. The life of Saint Nikephoros was a brilliant example and model for everyone. He was pleasing to God because he had endured so much. For this reason, we have testimonies that our saint received from the Holy Spirit the gift of discernment and a host of other charisms. We should note that most of the miracles are recorded, and today the saint gives generous help to anyone in need. Surely there will be many more miracles which have not yet been made manifest.